Hello, welcome back. We have a new day, Saturday. I'm finished uploading my video for tonight. Alright, to read about the Sahara deserts. I'm making some video on Dennis about deserts and how many deserts on earth. So this is my JVC camcorder. It takes 24 hours to charging. So, but that's not enough. Just 2 hours every day. I have to use this old pocket cam. But let's get a bit cooler. No, when I'm recording about desert in Danish, I think I should use this pocket cam because then I could use charging this and record something later. I have a long list of PDFs. Just download the camel, the animal camel, and the plant cactus. When you're thinking of deserts, you are thinking about the camel animals. They are good to survive in the deserts because they can keep a lot of water. The nomads in the desert like Sahara, like the Turageng. The Turageng nomads have always used the camels. So we have to read about the Turageng nomads in the Sahara. But the Sahara is biggest desert. But I will do some video later in English about the deserts. The earth is turning to a big desert. But not now. So let's get started. I need a minute to do myself ready. So I'd like to know more about Sahara deserts. That's really big. But many millions are living in the deserts in the North Africa. So the auto reading should work.
Sahara. Sahara Real Color.jpg. The Sahara taken by Apollo 17 astronauts 1972 Sahara.svg. Geographical map of the Sahara, length 4,800 km, 3,000 mi, width 1,800 km, 1,100 mi, area 9,200,000 km 2. 3,600,000 square mi, naming native name Arabic. Ar al-Kabra. The greatest desert. Geography countries list: Algeria. Chad. Coordinates, 23 degree N 13 degree E. The Sahara, /SHR///// Latin letter AR/ is a desert on the African continent. With an area of 9,200,000 square kilometers, 3,600,000 square mi, it is the largest hot desert in the world and the third largest desert overall, smaller only than the deserts of Antarctica and the northern Arctic. 1, 2, 3. The name Sahara is derived from the Arabic word for desert in the feminine irregular form, the singular era. Sahara plural r Sahara 4 5 6 7 r at Ari. The desert comprises much of North Africa, excluding the fertile region on the Mediterranean sea coast, the Atlas Mountains of the Maghreb, and the Nile Valley in Egypt and the Sudan. 8. It stretches from the Red Sea in the east and the Mediterranean in the north to the Atlantic Ocean in the west, where the landscape gradually changes from desert to coastal plains. To the south it is bounded by the Sahel, a belt of semi-arid tropical savanna around the Niger River Valley and the Sudan region of sub-Saharan Africa. The Sahara can be divided into several regions, including the Western Sahara, the Central Haga Mountains, the Tibesti Mountains, the Air Mountains, the Tenia Desert, and the Libyan Desert. For several 100,000 years, the Sahara has alternated between desert and savanna grassland in a 20,000-year cycle. 9. Caused by the precession of Earth's axis as it rotates around the Sun, which changes the location of the North African monsoon. Geography. The Sahara covers large parts of Algeria, Chad, Egypt, Libya, Mali, Mauritania, Morocco, Niger, Western Sahara, Sudan and Tunisia. It covers 9 million square kilometers, 3,500,000 square mi, amounting to 31% of Africa. If all areas with a mean annual precipitation of less than 250 millimeters were included, the Sahara would be 11 million square kilometers. Egypt, Libya, Mali, Mauritania, Morocco, Niger, Sudan, Tunisia, Western Sahara, disputed. Coordinates 23° N 13° E. The main biomes in Africa. A satellite image of the Sahara by NASA World Wind, 4,200,000 square mi. It is one of 3 distinct physiographic provinces of the African Massive Physiographic Division. Sahara is so large and bright that, in theory, it could be detected from other stars as a surface feature of Earth, with near-current technology. 10. The Sahara is mainly rocky hamada, stone plateaus, ergs, sand seas. Large areas covered with sand dunes form only a minor part, but many of the sand dunes are over 180 meters, 590 feet, high. 11. Wind or rare rainfall shape the desert features, sand dunes, dune fields, sand seas, stone plateaus, gravel plains, reg, dry valleys, wadi, dry lakes, oud, and salt flats, shuttle shot. 12. Unusual landforms include the Rachat structure in Mauritania. Several deeply dissected mountains, many volcanic, rise from the desert, including the Air Mountains, Al-Haga Mountains, Saharan Atlas, Tibesti Mountains, Adradesiforas, and the Red Sea Hills. The highest peak in the Sahara is Emi Kasai, a shield volcano in the Tibesti Range of northern Chad. The central Sahara is hyperarid, with sparse vegetation. The northern and southern reaches of the desert, along with the highlands, have areas of sparse grassland and desert shrub, with trees and taller shrubs in wadis, where moisture collects. In the central, hyperarid region, there are many subdivisions of the Great Desert, Tanesruf, the Tenia, the Libyan Desert, the Eastern Desert, the Nubian Desert and others. These extremely arid areas often receive no rain for years. To the north, the Sahara skirts the Mediterranean Sea in Egypt and portions of Libya, but in Cyrene, Akkar and the Maghreb, the Sahara borders the Mediterranean forest, woodland, and scrub ecoregions of northern Africa, all of which have a Mediterranean climate characterized by hot summers and cool and rainy winters. According to the botanical criteria of Frank White, 13, and geographer Robert Capotrilli, 14. 15. The northern limit of the Sahara corresponds to the northern limit of date palm cultivation and the southern limit of the range of Esparto, a grass typical of the Mediterranean climate portion of the Maghreb and Iberia. The northern limit also corresponds to the 100 mm, 3.9 in, isolated of annual precipitation. 16. To the south, the Sahara is bounded by the Sahel, a belt of dry tropical savanna with a summer rainy season that extends across Africa from east to west. The southern limit of the Sahara is indicated botanically by the southern limit of Cornulaca monacantha, a drought-tolerant member of the Chenopodiaceae, or northern limit of Centrus biflorus, a grass typical of the Sahel. 14. 15. According to climatic criteria, the southern limit of the Sahara corresponds to the 150 mm, 5.9 in, isolated of annual precipitation. This is a long-term average, since precipitation varies annually. 16. Important cities located in the Sahara include Nouakchott, the capital of Mauritania, Tamanrasset, Ouaglaboucha, Hassi Messaoud, Gardaya, and El Oud in Algeria, Timbuktu in Mali, Agadez in Niger, Ghat in Libya, and Faya-Largeau in Chad. Climate. An oasis in the Al-Haga Mountains. Oases support some life forms in extremely arid deserts. The Sahara is the world's largest hot desert. 17. 18. It is located in Thorse latitudes under the subtropical ridge, a significant belt of semi-permanent subtropical warm core high pressure where the air from the upper troposphere usually descends, warming and drying the lower troposphere and preventing cloud formation. The permanent absence of clouds allows unhindered light and thermal radiation. The stability of the atmosphere above the desert prevents any convective overturning, thus making rainfall virtually non-existent. As a consequence, the weather tends to be sunny, dry and stable with a minimal chance of rainfall. Subsiding, diverging dry air masses associated with subtropical high-pressure systems are extremely unfavorable for the development of convection or showers. The subtropical ridge is the predominant factor that explains the hot desert climate, Köppen climate classification BWH, of this vast region. The descending airflow is the strongest and the most effective over the eastern part of the Great Desert, in the Libyan Desert. This is the sunniest, driest and the most nearly rainless place on the planet, rivaling the Atacama Desert, lying in Chile and Peru. The rainfall inhibition and the dissipation of cloud cover are most accentuated over the eastern section of Sahara rather than the western. The prevailing air mass lying above the Sahara is the continental tropical, CT, air mass, which is hot and dry. Hot, dry air masses primarily form over the North African desert from the heating of the vast continental land area, and it affects the whole desert during most of the year. Because of this extreme heating process, a thermal low is usually noticed near the surface, and is the strongest and most developed during the summertime. The Sahara High represents the eastern continental extension of the Azores High, centered over the North Atlantic Ocean. The subsidence of the Sahara High nearly reaches the ground during the coolest part of the year, while it is confined to the upper troposphere during the hottest periods. The effects of local surface low pressure are extremely limited because upper-level subsidence still continues to block any form of air ascent. Also, to be protected against rain-bearing weather systems by the atmospheric circulation itself, the desert is made even drier by its geographical configuration and location. Indeed, the extreme aridity of the Sahara is not only explained by the subtropical high pressure. The Atlas Mountains of Algeria, Morocco and Tunisia also help to enhance the aridity of the northern part of the desert. These major mountain ranges act as a barrier, causing a strong rain shadow effect on the leeward side by dropping much of the humidity brought by atmospheric disturbances along the polar front, which affects the surrounding Mediterranean climates. The primary source of rain in the Sahara is the intertropical convergence zone, a continuous belt of low-pressure systems near the equator which bring the brief, short and irregular rainy season to the Sahel and southern Sahara. Rainfall in this giant desert has to overcome the physical and atmospheric barriers that normally prevent the production of precipitation. The harsh climate of the Sahara is characterized by extremely low, unreliable, highly erratic rainfall, extremely high sunshine duration values, high temperatures year-round, negligible rates of relative humidity, a significant diurnal temperature variation, and extremely high levels of potential evaporation, which are the highest recorded worldwide. 19. Temperature. The sky is usually clear above the desert, and the sunshine duration is extremely high everywhere in the Sahara. Most of the desert has more than 3,600 hours of bright sunshine per year, over 82% of daylight hours, and a wide area in the eastern part has over 4,000 hours of bright sunshine per year, over 91% of daylight hours. The highest values are very close to the theoretical maximum value. A value of 4,300 hours, 98%, of the time would be recorded in Upper Egypt, Aswan, Luxor, and in the Nubian Desert, Wadi Halfa. 20. The annual average direct solar irradiation is around 2,800 kWh/m2 year. In the Great Desert. The Sahara has a huge potential for solar energy production. Sand dunes in the Algerian Sahara. The high position of the sun, the extremely low relative humidity and the lack of vegetation and rainfall make the Great Desert the hottest large region in the world, and the hottest place on Earth during summer in some spots. The average high temperature exceeds 38 to 40 degrees Celsius or 100.4 to 104.0 degrees Fahrenheit during the hottest month nearly everywhere in the desert except at very high altitudes. Fuel's highest officially recorded average daily high temperature was 47 degrees Celsius or 116.6 degrees Fahrenheit in a remote desert town in the Algerian desert called Bou Bernes, at an elevation of 378 meters, 1,240 feet, above sea level. 20, and only Death Valley, California rivals it. 21. Other hot spots in Algeria such as Adra, Timimou, Insala, Walline, Aoulef, Regan with an elevation between 200 and 400 meters, 660 and 1,310 feet, above sea level get slightly lower summer average highs around 46 degrees Celsius or 114.8 degrees Fahrenheit. During the hottest months of the year, Salah, well known in Algeria for its extreme heat, has average high temperatures of 43.8 degrees Celsius or 110.8 degrees Fahrenheit, 46.4 degrees Celsius or 115.5 degrees Fahrenheit, 45.5 degrees Celsius or 113.9 degree F and 41.9 degrees Celsius or 107.4 degrees Fahrenheit in June, July, August and September respectively. There are even hotter spots in the Sahara, but they are located in extremely remote areas, especially in the Azalai, lying in northern Mali. The major part of the desert experience is around 3 to 5 months when the average high strictly exceeds 40 degrees Celsius or 104 degrees Fahrenheit, while in the southern central part of the desert, there are up to 6 or 7 months when the average high temperature strictly exceeds 40 degrees Celsius or 104 degrees Fahrenheit. Some examples of this are Bilma, Niger and Fayalajo, Chad. The annual average daily temperature exceeds 20 degrees Celsius or 68 degree fever and can approach 30 degrees Celsius or 86 degrees Fahrenheit in the hottest regions year-round. However, most of the desert has a value in excess of 25 degrees Celsius or 77 degree F. Sunset in Sahara sand and ground temperatures are even more extreme. During daytime, the sun temperature is extremely high. It can easily reach 80 degrees C or 176 degrees Fahrenheit or more. 22. A sun temperature of 83.5 degrees C, 182.3